What's up, YouTube? We're here with Estevan, who took his favorite Overdress deck, Eva, into our Kingslayer Overdress 1K tournament, and he actually got top 8 in the meta full of Chrono Jets. Was that easy?
No, not at all.
It doesn't sound easy. So we're here today and we want to show his deck profile.
Alright. Hey everyone. So, this is the Eva list. Obviously, we start off with the red line. We, search 2 orders, and then with Eva, you can get 1 card off the top 3 of the deck, assuming you've played 3 orders until when you got to grade 3. And then you call an Osculate when she attacks. We all know this by now, so... let's start off with the no-brainers. So, 3 perfect guards, and the Elementar Sanctitude. You're always gonna play this, especially now with Chrono Jet and Messiah, now in the meta. The other no-brainers, a crit, this, the usual. Then we play the heals, and the 1 counter heal we were playing was the Restander one. To be perfectly honest, this did not come up at all, and like any of the games we played. Most of the time, I kind of wished this one was actually the one that gains shield when a unit gains a critical from a card effect, because there's quite a lot of that in the top tier decks. Because while there are a lot of Restander decks in Overdress, the top tier decks usually have usually gain crits. Like Obsculate gains a crit. Any Dark State deck gains a crit if they have the over-trigger additional effect. So I kind of wish this was the crit counter heal instead of the Restander one. And then 3 draws, because you just want to draw a bunch of cards. Alright, and well, most broken card in the game right here, Elder Breath. We don't gotta talk about that. Alright, so let's go through the Eva pieces. So we have 4 of the grade 3 Osculates, 2 of the grade 2 Osculates. Osculate, obviously with the grade 1 order, it can't be retired by anything. It can still get bottom decked, so Chrono Jet still kind of has the edge there, and you're always losing 10k shield on your board. The grade 2 Obsculate is especially good if you can get it off the grade 3 research order, because you can always just make this grade 2 Osculate that was called from the grade 3 order your first attack to just wipe the front row and not have to worry about any interceptors for the rest of the turn, which is really, really good. But you could also get the grade 3 one who gain a crit, which is quite a lot of pressure, because that means that 2 out of 4 of your attacks are crits. Then we have our research orders. So we're playing a playset of the grade 3, a playset of the grade 1. The grade 1 obviously just stops your Osculate from being retired, and if you have 4 more research orders, you can shove it in soul, grab an Osculate from hand, and counter charge 1. It gives you 1 soul, it gives you 1 counter charge, but sometimes I actually found myself just activating this to just put an Osculate to hand, to just have him as shield for my opponent's turn, not even to just call it from hand, from Ava's effect, just because I still had like Osculates in deck. Obviously, if you don't have any left in deck, you're gonna use that Osculate you added to call for Ava's effect. The grade 3 research order is, well, amazing really, because it procs the secondary effect of the Osculates by being called from card effects. 1 gains a crit, the other one fights the entire front row. But this Soul last 1, rest 3 research order, rest 3 researches to give a unit 5k, one of your glitter units 5k. This ended up being very important actually, specifically because like you will sometimes call an Obsculate, and Obsculate by himself is 23, but if you use this, you can make him a 28, so it's a magic number. Especially if you call the grade 3 Obsculate from its first effect, which gains a crit, so now you have a 28k 2 crit attack for your So that's actually very, very useful. That Soul Blast is actually really important. Then another no-brainer, 3 Persona rides. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. The Combine Rushers, we were running just 2. 2 is pretty fine. You're only really gonna use it in the early game, cause once you're deep into the game after like turn 4 and stuff, you most of the time couldn't really spare the counter blast. Sometimes you could, sometimes you couldn't. But sometimes you just needed like 2. Sometimes you're just on 2 counter blasts. You can't really counter charge. So you can only really use those counter blasts for both of Ava's skills. So you couldn't really use this. But he's really good. You can call it off the grade 3 order if you find them. You can just call him as a rear guard, and he's 20k attacker if your opponent's grade 3, or 30k if you're on a Persona ride turn. He's a really good card for early game, really good card to just call from whatever. So you know, that's why he's so expensive. We were playing two of the Secondo. I actually really like this. Sometimes with one you may not really see him over the course of a game, or he gets damaged. Obviously, some people play one just because like they would treat it like Pokemon TCG. You would eventually see it, but I felt that with Chronojet running around, sometimes you would really die before actually seeing it. So having 2, I think, was a good idea. And you can shove your off skill back into the deck and then call him back with Ava's skill. Pretty important. The Soul Blast 3, I think quite literally never came up, just because you need that Soul Blast for the grade 3 research order and for Ava's own skill. So it's mostly just call, put a unit back in the bottom of the deck. We add Wavylos. He just a one-off. He's not really that important, but his Soul Blast 2 skill kind of conflicts with the other Soul Blast skills in the deck. But sometimes I was in situations where I was like, I don't really have much else to do, or I might not have like the counter blast to just call and osculate off Ava's skill. So I'm like, might as well use the soul for something that turn and get myself a draw and put a 13k body on the board. So I wouldn't prioritize using the Soul Blast 2, but sometimes you would just use it because I had no other option, and it helped. And then Tecton. This is a funny card. So discarding 1 card to get a research order, and then getting another research order off Ava's search was pretty funny, especially because you would go just +1 off 1 discard. Or if you're going second, you would go +2 on your first write-up. Which was pretty funny. Alright.
Okay, thank you for showing us the deck. What were the hardest matchups of that weekend?
So the hardest matchups of that weekend, let's see. I played 1 mirror on stream. That mirror is kind of hard, especially if they're actually running the grade 2 research order. That order is really good specifically in the mirror, because binding the osculates means you just literally never get them back. But Chronojet was surprisingly kind of even. Ava could actually keep up with it really, really well, and sometimes even just beat it outright just because Ava plays faster at times. Youthberg, I felt really hard actually, surprisingly, because if they get everything they want, Youthberg just kind of refuses to die. The game will literally go on for like 10 turns just because Youthberg keeps throwing a bunch of cards and then you can't punch through all the shield. But then sometimes Youthberg just breaks and then dies. So I did it. So I think the hardest one was Youthberg if they actually get through other pieces. And then second hardest was the mirror.
Okay, that means it's a pretty decent deck to take in this meta, because we're seeing Chronojet all over the place right now.
Yeah.
Not even in just our tournament, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thank you for showing us the deck. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you at the Invitational, which is going to be in Kissimmee, October, November 2023. We don't know the date yet exactly, because we're trying to avoid clashing with BCS. And I feel like we will if we put the date now. So thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.